주의가 경례, hilson. So once you're familiar with some of the easier hand techniques, that's the punch, the knife hand strike, back fist, forefist, you can start working on some a little bit more difficult ones, but are still very important to know. And one of those is the palm strike. So the palm strike, we're hitting with the heel of our palm. So the palm is very similar to the foot. If you look at the hand and the foot together, your fingers and your toes, this is the heel of your foot, so this is the heel of your hand. So you're going to be striking with the heel of your hand up to the chin. So if I do that on sitting stance, up! So I can strike with the heel of my hand. I've got my hand similar to how it would be for a knife hand strike. So I've got my fingers slightly curved, and I've got my thumb tucked in always. So you can treat it like a punch. It's a straight technique. And it's coming straight up to the chin. So you're hitting to the chin, try to get good snap on this technique. If you can get snap on a punch, then you can get snap on the palm strike. And you want to be thrusting your palm forward. That's what you're going to hit with. The reason we use the heel of our palm is because it's got the rest of the arm behind it, so that's where the most power is. And it's also well padded, so it means that when you strike, it'll hurt your opponent, but it won't hurt you. So you can practice this on sitting stance. 1, 2, 1, 2. So the next technique we're going to try out is the spear hand. The spear hand uses yet another new part of our hand, which is the tips of the fingertips. So this technique is a little bit weaker just because we are using our fingers, but with enough practice and when you know the right place to hit, it can be a very effective technique. So it's very important to get the shape of the hand correct on this technique. So what you want is your 3 fingertips lined up, your middle 3. So if you strike with just one, you'll be hitting with only this finger, and that'll hurt a lot because it's very weak on its own. But when you bend it just a little bit and brace it with your other fingers, it can still be tough. You want your thumb tucked in. And the way you want these 3 fingers, you can change it up a little bit. Depends from person to person what they prefer. You can either have them all 3 in a straight line, or some people also prefer to do it in a tripod. So you've got your fingers all touching each other. So you can do a triangle or a straight line. So when you do this technique, you also want to brace your elbow. You can use your hand to just give it a little bit more support. So coming forward on walking stance. So notice I'm coming straight forward. Middle section. This hit is designed for the solar plexus, so right in the center of the body here. And when I come forward, I come straight forward. So you notice I've got my fingers all lined up. I've got my thumb tucked in. This other hand is supporting my elbow. I can get good snap out of it because it's a straight motion. So that's the spear hand. We're using lots of different parts of our hand. So on the palm strike, we're using the heel of our palm. The spear hand, we're using our fingertips. So you can think about any part of your hand, and if you can think of it, there's probably a technique that uses that, even if you haven't learned it yet. So one final technique we'll be working on doesn't actually use the hand. It's time. We're using the forearm. So we use the forearm in our block so far, but never in a strike. So what we're going to be talking about is the elbow strike. Now the elbow strike, we do every single technique, even if you don't notice. If I'm going to punch, I've got my elbow strike here. So I'm bringing it straight back. This is a back elbow strike. So we're bringing it straight back. There's also a side elbow strike. You can bring it to the side. You can step in. And these elbow strikes are actually using more of the elbow. So you can use them if you want, but you might hurt yourself. So you notice I'm just bringing it all in and bringing it straight out. But the elbow strikes you might find yourself using more often is to the front. So this time I'm swinging my elbow across, so I can bring it across like this. And this time I have my arm bent the whole time, and I'm actually hitting with the forearm, not really with the elbow. So that gives you more power. You can use it to break a board fairly easily. Step forward. And you really want to swing across. You don't want to move your head over too much, because you don't want to bring your head down too much. You want to keep staring at your opponent. You can bring it across. And this is hitting head level, so you raise it up and it comes down just a little bit. Then there's another way to do it. Instead of coming across the head this time, you can bring it up. So this is rising elbow strike or upwards elbow strike. And this time you might want to think of it as hitting toward the shin. If you bring your elbow straight up, once again we're hitting with the forearm in this technique. Bring it up to the chin. That'll be even more powerful than an uppercut. So, and once again, don't bring your head down too much. Don't look away. Stay looking straight ahead of you. And you notice on these techniques, I'm doing the elbow strike with my front arm, but I'm also doing the reverse elbow strike with my back arm, just like on every technique. So these are actually 2 elbow strikes at once. So those are the 4 different ways of doing elbow strike. You might find yourself using these. Once again, these have the potential to really hurt someone, so don't use it unless your life is in danger. You can also use it for breaking. It's a very powerful technique, so it's great for breaking boards. And you can find other ways to use it. You can practice it. It also shows up in forms, so it's a very important thing to learn. Cheer up. Good night. Yes, son. Thank you.